to the Warzone Amateur Hour podcast.
All right, and welcome to 2023, and welcome back to the Warzone Amateur Hour podcast. This is episode number 110. Perfectly, symmetrical landing here. First episode of the new year. The old era of Warzone now well and gone behind us. Fully immersed here in Warzone 2 for good and for bad. But yes, it's been a while since me and the Cowboy spoke in this format, as we mentioned last week, some time off. But certainly in amidst that, some time in the Warzone together, specifically the last few days going hard, glad to say here, Tron and the Cowboy. But that said, I will turn to you, the 10-inch Cowboy, and ask you, I think you got a bit more time than I did overall. How was your week in the Warzone since our last recording?
Well, thank you. Yes, Happy New Year to everybody out there. We're recording this right before the new year, but still the feeling is there. The week was good. Playing a lot. It's funny. I noticed that you posted a video to our YouTube channel, and if you don't subscribe, like, or follow, please go to Warzone Amateur Hour podcast YouTube channel. But I had a video posted by the Tron of me reacting negatively to some gameplay, and I will say that yes, it's been a frustrating week. I was having such a good time, and everything was working in my favor. I was hitting my shots. I don't know, it was connecting for a while. This week, it's completely turned over. I am shooting people. I swear shots aren't registering. My TTK it's taking me a long time to kill people. Something is wrong. I think that I need to hardwire in my Wi-Fi and go landline, because I think there may be some ping or lag issues. So it's been very frustrating. Yes, the kettle that is my I guess my mindset is boiling right now. I'm very frustrated with the game. Been playing a lot, and I'm getting more and more aggravated. It's becoming kind of an issue, really, as I'm sure you've noticed. I've been a little bit more frustrated lately, but that's me. How was your week in the Warzone?
Well, it's just pretty incredible because last we left off, the temperature gauge from the Cowboy was feeling good, raging a lot less, better for my home life, all of that. But yeah, I can bear witness to what you've described, the frustrations, the raging, plain and simple. But that's also coincided with the 10-inch Cowgirl, being off the ranch, and, when all the farm hands and all those folks are away, maybe that just allows those Cowboy frustrations to boil over a little easier. There's not like a lid on that pot. I don't know, any credence to that theory?
Yeah, I think when the Cowgirl's around, I have a bit more of a control. I have a muzzle, essentially. I have a muzzle silencer. You know what I'm saying? I'm still doing damage, but I have to, kind of keep it low key. But when, I'm on my own, I take that muzzler off, and it's fucking July 4th. You know what I mean? The fireworks are fucking going off. And I've been letting them fly. It's
fireworks of content. As the Cowboy said, if you haven't already, head over to our YouTube page, check that out. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the bell icon so you can get notified of these gifts that are really bestowed upon us. But that said, with all this frustration, I felt like as a teammate of yours, I didn't notice any discernible decline for you this week. And in fact, we had a game where we dominated as a squad, and I think you ended up with 7 kills. Is that, I guess, a PR?
Oh my, come on.
In Warzone 2? Where's the PR at Warzone 2?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. Probably 14, 15.
Oh.
I'd say probably 15. 15's actually it. I remember. I got 15.
Okay. Well, so that, I guess, was the first part. And the second was like, it felt like over the last few days, you really made a discovery that, like, I could feel the excitement in your voice. It's like the kid when he's, digging around in the beach and he finally finds a beautiful seashell running along the shore, telling everyone about it. And that is you coming to know the Signal 50. Do you want to talk about that?
Yes. So as people know, no one really knows, so I'll just reiterate it. Basically, I love to snipe, and there was a time in Warzone 1 when the Kar 98 ran supreme, and I was having so much joy using that weapon. That was probably my favorite time. I know Tron likes to rank my favorite periods throughout the history of this game, so I will just give it to you. The Kar 98 being the meta when it was really firing was my favorite period. Well, that got taken away from me very dramatically for a very long time. The snipers became completely unviable towards the latter days of Warzone 1. We come into Warzone 2. In the beginning, they were pretty shitty again. Like, they weren't viable. Like, you could still use them, but it's been a slow clawing back to becoming meta again. And I still, even when people were saying the SPX 80 was amazing and people had been having fun, it wasn't really clicking for me. I don't know why. It just didn't have the same pizzazz to it. I just wasn't hitting those same shots I used to and getting the joy out of it. Because as we know, hitting a headshot down with a sniper is the greatest joy in the game. I don't care what else you say. Like, hitting a long snipe, like when you're moving and dipping and diving and dodging and you hit one of those snipes, feels great. Well, this week, friend of the pod, Pole dropped me his Signal 50, which I think is the new meta sniper. It's surpassed the SPX 80. And I gave that bad boy a whirl. Let me tell you, it was phenomenal. It was clicking for me. Everything about it was working. The bullet drop didn't seem as aggressive. I was hitting long shots. I was hitting short shots. It was just like, yeah, I've since built a Signal 50 loadout. I got I have to level a couple of other like bullshit fucking weapons before I can have that thing fully primed according to Warzone loadout to be like the meta sniper that it is. But man, yeah, it's been an exciting week and I'm back in the snipe game. It's my go-to loadout now. I was running the Fennec and the RPK as my number one, number two. And then if I had a backpack, I'd throw the XPX in the backpack. So I'd have 3 guns, which is fantastic. Now it's the Signal 50. Still going Fennec RPK, but that Signal 50 is my first loadout choice.
See, right look at that. We're hearing some contradiction there. You said I heard phenomenal week. I also heard you say,
well, this happened, I think, like a day or two ago. So the beginning of the week was yeah, I mean, the trajectory was shit, and then it started getting better. So yeah, I mean, I'm bringing in an optimistic mindset, but I don't forget. Okay, I don't forget the past. I don't forget anything, and I was upset earlier in the week.
And you did say phenomenal, emphasis on fun there. Am I right?
I think it was the phenomenal.
Yeah, well, you said phenomenal, like, because it's been so much fun.
It's been fun. It's been fun. It's been frustrating and fun.
Well, I'm glad you checked it out. I had been seeing stuff about this Signal 50. It sounds like, yeah, the main benefits are, in a game where a gun can't one-shot headshot, you need a better fire rate. And this thing has, I believe, the fastest fire rate in the sniper rifle class. I believe, too, the reticle does essentially reset to where it was when you shot. So even though there's a large vertical bounce, it essentially resets back to normal. So you're able to get these downs. I bared witness to this, as I said, firsthand, hearing the thrill in your voice, sharing it over the chat, sharing it amongst friends. But I guess my follow-up is, we've been talking about shipment, all this leveling stuff. Do you think you're actually going to go in there, level these other attachments to get that Signal 50 meta?
I did it this morning. Yeah, I was working on the Victus. I got a couple more levels to go, but yeah, I literally did it this morning.
Well, that has Tron torqued here on we're recording a Saturday afternoon. Love to hear that. I've been sticking with the RPK. I've talked about last week, I shifted from like the Fennec to the Lockman sub. Well, as a little baby meta sweat lord, I had seen the Vaznev rise in the ranks and in regard amongst the ranking community. And at this point, I believe you've made more fucking lists on this podcast now than I have. I made you like rank one time, and ever since that, you always are like, hey, if you gotta have me rank, I guess I'll fucking rank it. And you're inventing lists left and right.
Okay, there's been multiple lists we don't need to get into the details of it, but I know that not only have we talked about time periods that were the best and like maps that were the best, we've talked about weapons that are the best, weapon duos that are the best. There's so many lists that you've come up with. I don't want to, I could list your lists.
Well, then that'd be you listing in a way. So again, I guess I agree to disagree there. But that said, long story short, I've pivoted now to my short range of choice is the Vaznev. I'm loving it. I did a little bit of chasing in shipment to get some final unlock, things, some lasers, some grips, some thingeries there. I got that thing meta. I love it. The Fennec is great, but it's just like, it's like you get kind of one load, let's call it. And if you don't hit that load properly, you're in trouble. Whereas the Vaznev is more measured. It's got a little more range. It's feeling good.
The Vaznev is also fantastic sniper support, which is what I'm pairing with my overkill sniper loadout. Signal 50, Vaznev, bada bing, bada boom. It's great in that mid range. It's a little trickier any kind of long range, but no, I really like it. Really like it.
Yeah, I've seen there's two builds. Essentially, is the short range build, which I'm running, and then you've just now alluded to. There's a sniper support build. Both can really excel in this game. I really like the diversity. I mean, the Lockman is appealing to me too. I just saw a JGod video yesterday where he built one that has max ADS. It's like the fastest ADS SMG I guess you can build. I'm tempted to roll that out and check that out because a lot of fun stuff going on this week. But that's where I'm at. Still the RPK. When I get a third gun though slot, I've used to be doing the Pila Soldier now, but I'm kind of tempted with your love of the Signal 50 to like dive into that, but I just feel like I've like stayed so far away from that party. If I can't just walk in, I don't know.
So here's the deal is that like you basically let's get deep here. The reason you build so many loadouts is to cover all the different situations that occur when you're on the map, right? So you have like your late game loadout where I'm running a Fennec and an RPK, right? You don't need a sniper, when there's like 10 guys left and it's very, very close, right? Whatever. So there's times where you and your team will drop, say, Observatory or like, what is that little village you've been pinging lately, which is near Observatory? It's up on the hills overlooking.
It's like Akbar Village or something?
Akbar Village. Yeah, I think it's that. It's overlooking essentially like airport and like that, the little river that flows, the mini river over there. And the thing is that you might as well have a leveled ready sniper in case you find yourself in one of these large ass areas where you're like, shit, we're going to hold this area because the circle's perfect. We're all kitted up, but you're not going to be able to hit anybody with an RPK that's so far away or like there are situations that unfold where even if you're not a sniper, it's fun to have a sniper. And I feel like that's been happening a lot more lately for us as we find ourselves in situations where we're kind of just like, all right, let's reassess what's going on. I'll pull out the sniper and I'll just start looking around. And then you're like, oh, there's a team. And then when you get in those rare situations, which is so much fun, when you're in like a high position looking down on a very active area, say gas is pushing people out of a village, and you got the sniper and you can just unload hell on those. It's so fun to have absolutely no consequence for you, and you're just destroying them with the sniper. So you got to get one ready just for those off chances,
Wow. Yeah, I mean that when you wax poetic like that, speak about the game philosophically and give me a pep talk, I'm already sold. And having been an outsider on the sniper game, I started to poke around in my loadouts. I believe I already have the Signal 50 unlock, which is a huge boon because I finally went ahead and looked at the SPX, and I now understand the slog you've been facing. Like to unlock that, it's 4 weapons essentially? You have to go through, which is
it's insane.
Kind of wild. And shipment, XP tokens, all that aside, I just ain't ready to grind for a sniper. But when it comes to Signal 50, something like that, now maybe I'll throw it in there. So yes, I'm excited to check that out. But in terms of, we're now a week into this being able to buy loadout stuff. Perks are still broken. So I guess before we talk about loadouts, Where have you been going with perks? Have you still been, when you get a loadout, have you been going with your custom loadouts with the perks that don't work, or are you pivoting over to the defaults?
Yeah, so I've been operating under the assumption that high alert doesn't work with your like custom loadouts. I guess that'd be the right term.
Yep.
So basically, I'm getting overkill to buy 2 weapons. Let's just say that I'm going to a loadout and I'm all kitted out, right? I'm going ghost typically, or I'm going high alert / fast hands. I found a lot of value, especially when you have a 3-gun rotation with fast hands, because then you're switching, grabbing snipers out of backpacks, switching back to RPK. So I've been running, I think, primarily fast hands and high alert when I'm like fully kitted. But what I'll do is if I have only enough to buy 1 weapon, I'll either buy like an SMG or my RPK, the LMG, and I will then buy a ghost loadout, which has 1 of my kind of like substantial weapons in it, depending on what situation I'm in. Also, I've been enjoying sniping so much, I'll grab some, if you can find a good ground loot sniper. I also have my Vaznev sniper support ghost loadout as well that I've been grabbing as well. So kind of it all depends. I kind of got all the bases covered, but it's either fast hands high alert or default if I need to get a weapon is ghost.
Interesting. Yeah, it doesn't matter where I'm at. If I'm finding a loadout now, I'm going default top 1 with the fast hands, with the high alert. Having working high alert in Warzone 2 has maybe, there's been a lot of game changers for me, which the biggest one so far we've yet to talk about here, but it's coming here on this episode. But having that functioning high alert is insanely valuable. Like, I don't think I'll ever move away from that. Once they fix it and my custom loadouts are working, I'm slapping that one on there. I'm fine for going ghost just because it's, I don't know, maybe I never ran high alert. I mean, not maybe. I never really ran high alert in a big battle royale situation on Warzone 1. I'd run it sparingly on like Rebirth and stuff, but I'm a fucking believer. I got that poster, it's like the counterpart to my perks loadout poster. I got like a high alert poster now on my wall. I just look at that thing, stars in my eyes. I love it. That's where I'm at. I'm fine foregoing my custom weapons. I'll scrap for some money and buy those fuckers later, but I want to know when people are looking at me.
Yes, it's very helpful when you're on such a large map, especially when you're sniping or you're crossing areas, just to know that someone's looking at you. It's super valuable. And I don't know. It's interesting. I wonder what's more valuable. I think apparently high alert is more valuable. Like, it's easy. The value you instantly recognize because you're being told information, right? But the thing about Ghost is that you don't really know how often it's saving you, right? It's not as apparent to be helping you often. So I'm wondering what really does help you more, and maybe high alert is just more in your face because it's literally telling you someone's looking at you. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's more of a value. It'd be interesting. I don't know how you'd even quantify that with Ghost, but it'd be interesting.
I mean, well, you could quantify it. Ghost is only active for you when there's an enemy UAV up.
What about Heartbeat?
Heartbeat, I guess, but I don't. How many
Does Ghost protect you from the
snapshots? I don't believe so. That's a battle hardened or something, or at least it used to be. Do correct me if I'm wrong out there. We will issue a correction. We got fucking integrity. But back to the question at hand. So yes, Heartbeat, to me, that's negligible. Like, how many times have you died and on the kill cam you see someone using a Heartbeat? I've yet to have that fucking happen. That thing sucks. So to me, it's only really active when there is a UAV, but that can be the matter of life and death, especially in certain situations.
But how many times, does a UAV go up and we're like, oh, look at that team over there. Oh, let's stay away from there. Or like, oh, there's one guy. Let's go get that guy. You see what I mean? Like, there is so much more influence than you think.
Yeah.
Other teams, their intentions and what they're trying to do with the game. Another one of the little things, what are those little hexagonal, like, semi-spheres that are, they give you like a little...
portable radars. I believe, yes, you're ghosted on that.
Okay. And I've been using those more and more and more. I find those incredibly valuable.
Super valuable. I agree. Damn, definitely hold on to those. That's not like the suppression mine or something you should leave behind. But yeah, to me, I think though that's the right way to look at it is from a value space is you need to be maximizing the value with your perks. And for me, I don't know if I need to quantify it, but I just get so much value from the Hyler. And I found especially late games, because the way we play, we play tactically, we're always going to try and kind of get ahead of the game, have an area that we can hold, let people come to us. And the thing is with the TTK in this game so fast, it's a dangerous game to play because if they get to you and you don't notice them, you're fucked. And this is just like kind of that extra warning where I immediately see the flash. And I know they're just looking at me, let alone, I don't know if they're aiming at me, but now that I've been seen, I kind of know where the threats are coming from. So that's where I'm at. Ghost, obviously, though, hugely valuable. It seems like those are the de facto two you should be kind of bouncing between. But we've yet to see when they'll fix loadouts. But that said, it's time for a temperature check from you. We're over a weekend with the ability to buy loadouts. Have your thoughts evolved on that? What are your thoughts on that now being in the game?
I think that loadouts are so much less valuable with all the other ways that you can get your weapons and your perks, right? So anytime you enter a black site and you do that whole thing, or stronghold, I'm sorry, well, or black site, but stronghold specifically, which are kind of plenty now with 7 of them on the map, you can get your perks, five. And then there's also loadouts that are dropped. So, we got into this, a couple days ago when we were playing, you were adamant about buying a loadout. We had a quad. It was $32,000. And it was like, okay, well, we could all buy 3 weapons for ourselves. And then instead of having to buy a loadout where it's like, then I only get 2 weapons as opposed to my third of choice. And I thought, let's just buy our weapons. It was so early on in the game. It was like, why don't we get our perks later? We ended up buying the loadout. And yeah, so I think that it's kind of, I don't think it's necessary to buy a loadout right off the rip. Like I'd rather buy the weapons or like buy you. I don't know. I think that I like the way that they priced loadouts. I think that it creates this kind of conversation. It's not super easy to get your loadout. You need a shit ton of money. And is it worth getting the loadout with all these other options to get what you need to get? So yeah, I don't know. I know you're on the opposite side of this. You are a ardent supporter of getting the loadout, and I'll pass this conversation to you.
Well, actually, I don't know if I am. To me, the way I've evolved now is it's contextually based. So if I'm in a small team, I think it's worth it. You can get the 16K. But when you get into trios and quads, which is what I want to tie in here, listeners, if you're out there, unless I'm taking fucking crazy pills, it seems like right now the pricing in the buy station is busted in trios. If you go to buy a loadout in a trio, it's supposed to be 24,000, but it's now listing 32,000. So for me, if I'm in a trio or a quad, that's just too much money to amass in too much time. So I'm kind of over buying them in that. But when it is solos, duos, I can go for it. Because like you said, it's easier and easier now to get the loadout, the stronghold, or now you can actually like see the icons of the loadout drops when you respawn, which is another kind of can of worms. Is that broken? Because it's like only certain people can see those things on the map. But the long story short is, yeah, I'd rather just wait and try and get one at a stronghold, or I'll fucking forego the perks, which is hard to do, but it's just like $32,000 in this game. It's fucking a nightmare.
Yeah, and to your point, I actually want to talk about this. I really like the concept that when you're respawning and the loadouts have been dropped, they show up for you and they don't show up for people that have survived. So it gives you a head start on the restart, which I really like. Because if everybody knew where the loadouts were on the map at all times, they would camp those loadouts because those are obvious drop points for people that are coming back from the goo or getting bought back. I like that. It's good for the amateurs. You know what I mean?
So you think that's a feature, not a bug?
I know it's a feature. I don't know. I'm being overly confident, arrogantly confident, but it makes sense that that's a feature. I feel like that's how it should be. Yeah, because you're giving the advantage to the respawn player. If the people that were on the map knew where those loadouts were the entire game, they would fucking camp those things because they knew that's where everyone's going to go. And that's the shittiest situations when you're dropping back in and you just happen to drop right on somebody that's kitted.
Yeah.
You're fucked. So I think that's a choice that they made. I'm going to give them that credit.
See, I thought that was a bug, but you must have been going back to your fake lawyer school or something since we last spoke, because that's a compelling argument for why it's working the way it is. So interesting stuff there. Yeah, I mean, I like it. It is nice resetting with that. And I have noticed there's not many campers, so that makes sense to me. So if it is a feature, it's working as intended. But unfortunately, the pricing not working as intended. So until they fix that, I'm kind of on the out train for buying the loadout. The other avenue is just too easy to come by, and I'll just go $5,000, have my 2 guns, and wait. But that said, we talked about end of last episode our goals, our Warzone goals for 2023. And I mentioned upgrading a monitor. Well, it didn't take even until the end of 2022 to cross that one off the list. I've had a few revolutions here over the course of recording this podcast. The biggest one prior to this week was going from a PS4 to a PS5. And then on top of that, the next biggest was going from 60 hertz to 120 hertz. Well, I kind of tied it all together this week, buying myself a gaming monitor. We're talking 32 inches. We're talking 4K at 120 hertz.
Wow.
We're talking, instead of sitting, let me look here, 10 to 12 feet away from a TV screen that's at like an awkward angle on a wall while I'm laying back in a reclined situation, to now being upright in my office chair, monitor 1 foot from my face, peripherals matching up perfectly with the edges of the frame. Fucking game changer for Tron.
Wow. I didn't realize you were hamstringing yourself so hardcore. That's pretty exciting. I guess the obvious question is, have you noticed an improvement in gameplay?
So before I dive into that, I always want to share lessons learned here on the podcast. So if you're out there and you've, after this Christmas holiday, found yourself making the leap from 60 hertz to 120 hertz, there's actually a fucking setting you got to mess with in Call of Duty, because I was playing with this monitor for a good 10 minutes, couldn't get it to work. You have to go into the graphic settings on Warzone and flip on a switch to enable it. So I wanted to get that aside, share that very frustrating bit of information if you're out there that missed that. But yes, to answer, I immediately noticed a difference. I dropped in a solos match just to try it out. Just like your understanding of what's going on, I feel like, and being able to just see every inch of the frame, it's that much better. I'm able to react to situations more. I'm able to just like navigate the game better. So that was the first, but yeah, a few days into it, the proof in the pudding came splashing out of me when I dropped a PR 14 kill game on Al Mazrah. We got the dub. You were part of it. That was the one, I think you had 7. We were shredding it. So yeah, baby. Tron.
14. That's a lot. That's really good. I think I said earlier I had 15 as my PR, so you're getting there. Unbelievable. Yeah. So do you think that, obviously, sounds like it's going to help you then? You're excited about it.
I think it contributed to some degree, but either way, maybe it's just, subconsciously I'm focusing more too, sitting upright, all that stuff, being less lazy, but it's just way more fun, enjoyable. You see stuff in the distance, the 120 hertz, that extra bit of information, the smoothness. I feel like I'm tasting some sweat. My hands actually literally were sweaty the first game, that solo game I played. So like the sweat's coming out of me.
Yeah. I haven't even seen what it looks like on the technical dimensions that the 4K, the hertz change, all those things. I don't even know what that's like. I'm imagining that it's crisp and tasty, and you can, you're more dialed in, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. And next time, you come to town, I'll park you in this seat, let you get a taste of it. Maybe it'll lead you down that rabbit hole. But yeah, I that's a great purchase. Very happy to do so. Enjoying the game more. Some other upgrades probably on the horizon too, but we'll see. So yeah, Tron is evolving here with Warzone 2, coinciding with more fun, kicking some more ass, but maybe it'll be short-lived because I really feel like from the beginning of this episode we've talked about is the Warzone's been giving, it's been taking away, and we got season 2 right here on the horizon. So we got to imagine there's going to be some more giving and taking away coming up here.
Yeah. I feel like giving somebody a fucking bullet right now, baby. I kind of want to play. It's getting me excited.
Yeah, well, that's perfect timing because that is going to do it for us this week on the Warzone Amateur Hour podcast. Again, a dormant period as the developers are off sucking eggnog, watching the Fiesta Bowl or the NFL regular seasons come to an end here. No updates, no patches, no weapons tuning, no new shit. Likely until season 2 drops. So if you're out there, get on that shipment, get those attachments, find that Signal 50. Maybe it's not the Signal 50, but find what Cowboy did because it brings me a great deal of joy to know that.
Yeah, also just want to point out a lot of content creators, a lot of podcasters take holiday breaks, They're like, you know what, we're going to miss this week. We're going to come back next week and hit hard. No, we don't fucking take a break over here. We're constantly creating content. We don't fucking miss anything. I just want everyone to recognize that, flatter us with our dedication, and hold us, higher than anyone else, basically.
That's right. In a world where so much is changing, so much uncertainty, there's two fellas who've been bringing you this podcast every single Monday since we started way back in 2020. 110 episodes without interruption. That's included, births, literal fucking humans being birthed into this planet, relocating hundreds of miles, recording from different states, job changes, all that insanity, traveling here in the holiday season, getting it out there the day after Christmas or whatever it was. So yes, I appreciate the Cowboy highlighting that. And that's all for you all, our beautiful, wonderful listeners and members of the WAW community.
Yeah, exactly. So just, make sure you're, to fucking tell your friends about our podcast, baby.
That's right. As 2023 is here, it's only our goal, as always, to keep growing, keep expanding. The more we reach, the more we can invest, get more shit out there to you. I'm going to be having a new personal computer at some point. Hopefully start creating a little more video content. But yes, as we said, check out the Cowboy Rage. The full gameplay of my PR is going to be coming at you tomorrow or later today. I can't remember when I fucking scheduled it or when you're even listening to this. So just check our YouTube page. Hit the bell, like we said.
Yeah.
So continue on. Maybe you'll both get a little sweatier, or you out there will get a little sweatier like I did. Either way, have a great week in the Warzone. We will talk to you all next week. And until then,
good luck in the gulag and a happy new year.